the tall swamp pines to the salt ocean mist. If you're hiding from the truth, better stay on the run. I'll air your laundry until my work is done. I'm the Myrtle Beach true crime duchess, serving up facts with a whole lot of sass. Sweet tea voice, but I cut like justice. This ain't for the faint, you better bring your past. Homicides, corruption, and missing person cases. Awareness is the key, and I share it all the places. So hit the like and lean in, pull on up a seat. This stream is about to start, and you don't want to miss this tea. This is the exclusive Dutch Girl Podcast with your southern salty hostess, Mrs. Duchess. We are streaming live from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Hit that like, subscribe, grab your Dutch bus passes while they are hot. This is where we talk facts and hold space for local families who need support. Clock in, y'all.
Hey, everybody. My name is Duchess, and welcome to Dutch Girl Podcast. Thank you guys for joining me this Friday night. I appreciate you choosing to spend a little bit of time with me. My special guest tonight is my husband, the Duke. How you doing, Duke?
I'm good. This is my first time, so I'm a little nervous. You know, y'all
You're a little nervous?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to. It says I got to join the chat in order to type in, but I guess I can just talk with you guys, right?
Well, I just usually type in the chat on my side, but you can't do that on your computer. If you join the chat, you'll actually kick yourself from the StreamYard. So if you want to type in chat, you have to use your phone. So that's why I always keep my phone on the live stream. See, there we are right there. How's everybody doing on this Friday night? We didn't have disc golf because we have inclement weather. So I decided we would go ahead and talk about what's been going on in our county, because apparently we're doing too much here in Horry County. And I was just talking to Duke about it. And because we live here, we're tax-paying citizens, and it's like a never-ending story. So I've got a lot of news articles and things that I want to show you guys. There was a press conference to talk about another law enforcement officer that is going to be that has filed a lawsuit actively. And we're going to go over that lawsuit. It's 35 pages. And there is another internal investigation. The police chief is saying that he was forced to resign. So we're going to take a look at that. And also there was an Horry County Council meeting in which Scott Spivey's sister, Jennifer Spivey Foley, was in attendance. And they've talked about disbanding, the Horry County Police Department and merging it in with Horry County Sheriff's Office. We are the only county in South Carolina that has dual law enforcement in the same county. I don't know if you guys know the difference between the Horry County Police Department and the Horry County Sheriff's Department. I think I asked you that yesterday, Duke, when we were talking on the porch. The Sheriff's Department is an elected position. And so he is working for the citizens. However, the Horry County Police Department, that's not an elected position. That is actually chosen by the Horry County Council. So they do the bidding of the council versus the sheriff who acts on behalf of the citizens. And I think that's where we have a situation with those things. So that's really important to know, because we don't need somebody that is just doing the bidding of the council. Because I think you guys probably remember me talking about the police chief who had to resign his position, Police Chief Winburn, and how he made a call to stop an arrest as it was in process. They had just taken Mr. Long into custody and were driving him to the jail. And as they were en route leaving Little River, that officer got a phone call from Chief Winburn, and Chief Winburn said that he didn't think that this is what should be happening and that they needed to turn around and take Mr. Long back to his residence and write him a traffic ticket. And that is inappropriate. That is not how the law goes here in Horry County, unless you're in the good old boys club. And how did Chief Winburn know that Mr. Long didn't need to be arrested? Because really, that's up to the magistrate. It's not up to him to make that call. And I'll tell you how that happened. It's because Horry County Councilman Harold Worley, who owns lots of $1 million properties, including the Ocean Drive Hotel where Spanish Galleon is. He also owns H. Lee's old spot, which is the OD Pavilion right across from that. He also owns another place that you guys might be familiar. Buoys on the Boulevard. You know where that is, babe, don't you?
I sure do.
And that restaurant is owned by none other than Weldon Boyd, and his landlord is Harold Worley. And Harold Worley is the one who made that phone call to Chief Winburn saying, that's my son-in-law, and you need to take him back to his house. That's a no-no. We can't be having that type of interference into these cases. So I appreciate y'all joining me because we have a lot to talk about. I'm just getting adjusted to these ear pods. But I appreciate y'all being here. Let me go over here to the chat and say hey to everybody. I think I showed a few people when our intro was playing. Thank you for being here, Michelle. I hope you're doing good. I know you guys been having some storms out there. I hope you guys are safe. Good to see you, Elizabeth Lander. Elizabeth Lander, are you in the building? Elizabeth Lander is in the building. Good to see you, Elizabeth. Hey, Lindsay. Always good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. We have Nightbot in the chat. Nightbot, please do not act a fool. He says, welcome to Dutch Girl Southern Charm with a true crime twist. Hit the like and sub up, and thanks for joining us. And remember, guys, please act accordingly. Respect each other, other chatters, and the guest that I have on my panel. Debate is encouraged. You can be assertive without being aggressive. And if you act up, the mods will show you to the door. And, you know, I always say, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. And thank you, Mustang, for being here. Always good to see you. I hope you're doing well. And the Five Canes is here tonight. Good to see you, Five Canes. I'm feeling spicy, but I'll behave. And Michelle says it must be that Friday feeling. It sure is. It's May 1st. Can you believe that we're already going into May? This year really flies by. Matthew, it's so good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you being here. Everybody saying hey to you, Duke, in the chat. And like I said, if you got your phone, babe, you can always go to my YouTube live and you can turn your volume all the way down so you can look at the chat if you see anything. And here we got T Tiny becoming a YouTube member. T Tiny, thank you so much for joining the Dutch Bus. We appreciate you.
Seatbelts, everyone!
Double Dutch bus coming down the street.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Tootie. Good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Oh, look, there's Duke in the chat. I see you. I see you over here now. Five Cane says, that feels like a conflict of interest. I believe it most certainly is. And that's probably why we've got this internal investigation going on. So we have a lot to talk about. Hey, Freeside. Haven't seen you in a while. I hope you've been doing good. It's good to see you. Who else we got in here? The Five Canes. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for all you do. I really appreciate your support. That means a lot to me.
Cause I be rapping gang, 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 gang. Posted with the gang, 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 gang. Pull up with the gang, 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 gang.
I have to play that for Chico because that's what it makes me think of when we say gang gang. So thank you so much, Five Canes. I appreciate you supporting tonight. So we are going to get started and talk about some of these things that are happening. So the first thing I want to do is go over here and look at some of these short clips on WBTW because there has been one after another when it comes to these press conferences. So I am going to share my screen and I want to just, oh my gosh, it's a lot. Horry County is really under fire. And I think this is going to be something that is extremely important for us to look at. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to pull up the first video, which is how one of the police captains is currently suing the Horry County Police Agency, and that is Mr. Danny Furr. And basically, he has been a long time person that has worked for the Horry County Police Department, and he says that he was pushed out of his job after reporting what his attorney described as wrongdoing within the department. And he went and hired Axelrod and Associates. Duke, I'm sure you're familiar with Axelrod. And there was a press conference that was held in Horry County on behalf of Captain Danny Furr. And they basically said that he has served with the HCPD for more than 20 years. And according to those attorneys, Furr was asked to retire early after he reported concerns about wrongful actions within the department to his superior. So attorney Johnny McCoy, which we have seen Johnny McCoy talk about another case with sexual allegations involving people, in fact, 3 women that said they were sexually harassed by the county administrator that oversees the Horry County Police Department and all of their dealings. Johnny McCoy represented them, and now Johnny is also representing Danny Furr. And Johnny McCoy says that the department unfairly treated Furr after he raised those concerns. And he was placed on probation and was no longer allowed to train incoming officers. And McCoy says that Furr's actions were protected speech. And many of you know the First Amendment is for citizens to be able to speak out about government. Police is the government, and they are the arm of the government, police officers within the government. So speaking out against the government and the things that we have going on in our county, those people are individuals who also deserve the same First Amendment protection as regular, ordinary citizens do. And do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly.
You know, McCoy acted as a whistleblower, and he criticized the department's response. And McCoy said that when it comes to Captain Danny Furr, somebody who's speaking out against the higher-ups, instead of saying, you're going to retire, we're going to write you a lovely letter, and you're going to let us protect you. They did the opposite. They forced him to retire, and then they embarrassed him. They ostracized him in the media and out in the community. And attorney Stuart Axelrod also spoke up at that press conference, saying that he believed that higher ranking officials in the department should be held accountable. And so I'm going to play a short clip that I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to get into some of these details. So let me get over here and share my screen, and we're going to watch this video. And if there's any audio issues, you know in the chat. Well, everybody coming in, don't forget to hit that like and share this live stream out, because awareness is key. We talk about crime, corruption, missing person cases, cold cases. So we definitely want to make sure that we focus on what's been happening in this county, because remember, we have 60 unsolved cold cases for Berbiglia. And the reason that I want to highlight these things is because on Sunday, May the 3rd is an extremely important day. It's not only the 1 year anniversary of Logan Federico's murder, which I know that's going to be a very tough day, and we are holding space and keeping Stephen and her mom and her brother in our thoughts and prayers. But it is also 13 years since Amber Berbiglia was also murdered here, just a few miles away from my home on Old Saunders Road in Little River, South Carolina. Gina did reach out to me today, and she let me know that Amber's mother, Michelle, is going to be holding a vigil for Amber's memorial on Sunday at 5 p.m. And the Duke and I are going to be there, and I'll bring you all the exclusive from the memorial. Michelle asked if we would attend, and she also wanted me to announce that on tonight's live stream. So if there are any locals or anyone that wants to come and show support for Amber's case, then if you guys want to come out to that vigil, it's going to be Old Saunders Road in here in Little River, which, like I said, is right underneath the Robert Edge Parkway overpass. And that is on the North Myrtle Beach and Little River, South Carolina line. So if you guys want to come out there, it's going to start at 5 p.m. That's East Coast time here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Come out and pay tribute and honor Amber Berbiglia's life. And this is why we talk about these cases here, because of corruption in the police department, Amber's case has not gotten justice, along with many other people in this county. And this is why we got to shine a light, because the truth matters. And again, welcome everybody coming in. We are going to play this. Mods, if you could please drop the fair use in the chat, I would really appreciate it. And we're going to jump into it.
At 6, an Horry County police employee is suing the department, its chief, and other top county officials for what he calls retaliation. Violations, defamation, and invasion of privacy. He says he served 27 years with the department and never had an issue with morale until Chief Chris Lenhart took over after former Chief Joe Hill resigned in October 2024. He says he expressed frustrations to county council members in recent closed-door meetings, but claims Lenhart told employees later not to go around him for their own agenda. I was at today's news conference and asked for about transparency after Lenhart declined my interview request twice this week.
Our jobs don't exist without the public. They don't exist without the police and the public working together, each of them knowing what the other knows, sharing ideas, sharing what the community knows in their communities with the police, so that we can take over and be that hand that does what the community needs.
Or says that transparency he believes does not exist now with Lenhart's leadership.
It's very hard to get any information from, if you think it's hard for you internally, there is no communication.
That's very concerning. The citizens can't get transparency. But if you work for the department, you can either. I mean, what? Oh my gracious. Cash, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Allie, it's good to see you. I hope you're well. Appreciate you. Yes, that is my Duke. That's Duke. That's not Queen Bee's Duke. That's my Duke. Hold on. Is that going?
Babe, I'm going to jump off just because I think that could be a problem. I mean, we got 4 devices or more straining the Wi-Fi probably. So
Okay.
I'll see if that doesn't help. I'll still be in chat though. Okay.
Okay.
I love you.
Right.
You're doing great.
I love you too, babe.
By the way.
Well, thank you, baby. I appreciate you so much.
All right.
I'll see you in chat then.
Okay.
Or you can come up here and talk, whichever you want to do.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, y'all. Let me help Duke off the panel here. Is it still echoing? Allie, thank you for becoming a member. I think you've been a member before. I appreciate you coming back. Thank you so much.
The older you do get, the more rules are gonna try to get you to follow. You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
Appreciate you, Alley Cat. Thank you so much. Screwball says, why are you hiding your face? Well, I think he must have, listen, the lighting where he's at, he's actually downstairs. Hey, B. Tim, it's good to see you. Yes, that's what we call my husband. I'm the Duchess and he's the Duke. So that was actually my husband. That was on the panel, but I think we must be having some echoing. Is the echoing gone, y'all? Y'all need to let me know. Hey, Trixie, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. You can't tell with the sound cache? Oh, I understand that. I just had to get a new card too, Allie. I totally understand. And I appreciate you. I appreciate all the mods and all the members so much for coming over here. So we're going to jump right into this case. And it's good to see you, BTM. I hope you're having a great day. So on this case, this is going to be something. I can't wait to go over this lawsuit.
One of Furr's attorneys says he hopes to see the police department abolished and Sheriff Philip Thompson take over. I reached out to an Horry County spokesperson for comment today, but was told they do not comment on pending litigation, which is standard. Coming up tonight at 11, what his attorneys say for experience under current leadership. For now, you can find the lawsuit at WBTW.com.
And we are going to go over that. Let's go back over here because there's another video. Did you guys get an echo on that?
I wasn't getting it.
Sounds good to y'all? Okay. I think I heard the Duke yelling in the hallway.
I wasn't getting it.
Oh, okay. It's hard for me to hear you with my earpods in. The system can't just handle the cuteness Duke can touch. Thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate that. So the other video that I want to show you that happened also this week is a lawsuit filed against the ex-Horry County administrator. And this is very interesting. So I want to play that for you guys next. So let me get that pulled up here. Make sure you guys, okay, good. You guys can see that. And this administrator, the county administrator, and like I said, the difference is that the sheriff is elected and he works for the citizens, and the police department actually does the bidding of the Horry County Council. And so that is a huge difference, because you have somebody that's working for the people and then somebody that's actually working for all the high ups in the county. And the police department, well, this is where those sexual allegations come into play. And this is where that lawsuit, I was wondering how long it was going to take for the former Horry County administrator, Randy Webster, to head to mediation. So let's see what they have to say about this.
Today, another recent lawsuit filed against the Horry County Police Department is apparently headed to mediation. News 13 got that information from attorneys for former Horry County Police Officer Kelsey Mannamite and former Public Information Director Michaela Moskov. The lawsuit came after Mannamite filed a sexual harassment complaint against former Administrator Randy Webster, who submitted his retirement in October, one day after the complaint was filed. Mannamite and Moskov were among 5 employees who resigned in November amid an investigation into what the department called improper sexual relationships. The lawsuit claims that investigation happened in part to retaliate against the women for voicing their concerns about Webster, with others forced to resign as collateral damage. The lawsuit also names Chairman and Horry County. You'll find all of our coverage on both
same players. Chris Linehart's caught up in all of it. Is it a coincidence? I don't think so. Because in the good old boy system, they cover for one another. It's filled with nepotism, favoritism. If I know something on you, I'll scratch your back, you'll scratch my back. You know, that's what happened in Weldon Boyd's case. He just called his friend at home who's a cop and said, hey, look, I shot somebody, but I had every right to do it, and just thought he was going to get away with it. These two men that were free, they're still out walking around, living their life just like me. Weldon Boyd's restaurant is only, I would say, less than 2 miles from my house, and he's still running his business and living his life with no cares. And hopefully there's going to be a civil and a criminal lawsuit that's going to come out against him. But there was also improper things done to Micah Miller with the Horry County Police Department. They didn't take her serious when she reported that she was being harassed by J.P. Miller. They didn't take her serious when she said, he's bugging my phone, trackers on my car. He is, preventing me from having access to my money. He had punctured her tires. Horry County Police Department just blew it off. And then she ended up deceased. I mean, it's really a shame. It kind of makes me embarrassed sometimes to be from Horry County. But if we don't use our voice and stand up for what's right, then how's any of this ever going to change? So this is another video from WBTW about the departing Horry County Deputy Chief at the center of this internal probe. So I want to make sure we watch this video before we jump into it.
I'm here to speak with Chief Lenhart.
Let me see, hold on.
First at 11, a developing story out of Horry County. You heard it there. We're learning more details about the retirement of a deputy police chief and what happened leading up to it. Thanks for joining us at 11. I'm Adriana Lawrence. Newly obtained documents by News 13 show during a 2022 arrest, that deputy chief stepped in and had the charge dropped mid-arrest. Investigators later determined that arrest should not have happened in the first place. News 13's Jordan Titus joins us live now in the newsroom. And Jordan, you spent the day digging into these documents and trying to get answers. What did you find out?
Adriana, Chief Chris Lenhart released a statement today that said, in part, the department is doing everything in their power to be available to the public. We asked twice for a sit-down interview with the chief today, but we're told the statement would be the only thing released. So we decided to stop by his office and ask again in person.
No.
I'm here to speak with Chief Lenhart.
Let me see. Hold on.
If you want to contact our public information officer?
Okay, is he here?
No, he's not here. He's downtown.
Documents we've
Y'all hang on for 1 second. Okay, y'all, I apologize. I had to take care of something real quick. This just a little bit so we can go back to where we were at.
So if you want to contact our public information officer?
Okay, is he here?
No, he's not here. He's downtown.
Documents we've obtained show in April 9, man was charged with misuse of 911. But internal HCPD investigators later found that that arrest was not proper. And records show while the man was being taken into custody, Winburn stepped in, instructing officers to turn around, included, found a department policy back then was violated. Winburn's retirement announcement comes amid recent public calls to dissolve the department over claims of repeated breaches of trust and poor leadership.
I don't know if you guys caught that back here, but there's Jennifer Spivey Foley, Scott Spivey's sister. I've attended Horry County Council meeting when she talked about her brother's case because Horry County PD really messed that up. And that's how they had another internal investigation. And now there's another internal affairs probe going on because of this. It's never ending here. And thank goodness that Jennifer went there to speak out.
Over claims of repeated breaches of trust and poor leadership.
Accountability needs to happen. Unfortunately, it's happening a lot more than we think, and it's happening in our backyards.
The timeline from 2022 to now also raising concerns for some county residents.
I think it's a little ridiculous, the timing of how long that it did take. We can't let just innocent people be taken away for a mistake on someone's part.
Lenhart says the internal investigation began after a public records request was filed related to the incident he says he wasn't aware of and happened under previous leadership. Winburn is now the third highest ranking member of Horry County Police to leave in just over a year. According to authorities, then Deputy Chief Brandon Strickland resigned last year amid allegations of misconduct in the Scott Spivey investigation. And Sergeant Damon Vescovi was terminated related to the same case.
Remember Damon Paul Vescovi? He's the one who wrote on a piece of paper for Weldon Boyd to act like a victim, and it was picked up on his body cam. If Jennifer Spivey Foley and Mark Tinsley had never got that information from that body cam sent to them, nobody would have ever heard about it, and it would have been tucked away, and the police department would have kept that hidden. Can you imagine the things that have gone on at this police department that we don't know about in the public? That is extremely, extremely concerning to me. And when that came out, and of course, Brandon Strickland resigned because he knew that there was going to be an incoming civil lawsuit and that he could be involved in it. And so he quit. But he should have known from the get-go when Weldon called him at home because they were personal friends, he should have said, this is crossing the line. And I cannot be involved in this because I know you personally, you're going to have to deal with another officer. But he didn't do that. And it was extremely inappropriate. And we can't have that.
At last check, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division is looking into Strickland. And as the department says it's working to be transparent to the public, some say they're still waiting for more answers.
Who do we have as American people? They're supposed to voice.
Right.
We've also requested Winburn's records today from the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy and are waiting to receive those. We've also reached out to retired police chief Joseph Hill, who served as chief in 2022 and have not heard back. If you'd like to read on the full report, visit our website, WBTW.com. Live in the newsroom, Jordan.
Very, very interesting. What do you guys think about that? That's a lot. That's a lot, isn't it? Let me go over here and see what you guys are talking about in the chat. Michelle says he would have gotten away with it if Scott's family had not stood up. Yeah, that's the sad part because our Attorney General, who's now running for governor, AG Alan Wilson, who says that he stands firm with victims and protecting citizens in South Carolina. Well, he wasn't protecting citizens when he said that Weldon Boyd and Bradley Williams met the stand your ground guidelines when they shot Scott Spivey after they pursued him for 9 miles and, shot more than 40 rounds at him, shooting him dead. And I think Scott Spivey only got off just a couple of shots. And I don't know that they would have even believed because Scott Spivey wasn't alive. He couldn't tell his part of the story. It kind of reminds me a lot of Tyler Dole's case. There was only one person there. So the only person that was there to tell a story was the person that was alive. And without a proper investigation, you've got to find the truth to the matter. You can't just take somebody's word for it, because there could always be something going on. And that's why you have to dig into it, and evidence and facts matter. So, hey, Aries, it's good to see you. I see you changed your name again to Woo Aries. Thanks for being here, Aries. I hope you're doing good. I think a couple of lead cops on the scene got promoted to another department so they wouldn't be associated with the case. Yeah, that's probably true. I'm going to go ahead and say that I do believe that the sheriff's department should go ahead and absorb Horry County Police Department so that the Horry County Police Department can just be disbanded, because there has been just so much crime and corruption involved within the department itself. And these aren't the only topics. Like, there's also the Green C-14, and we're going to get into that. I don't know if I'll be able to get into that tonight, but you know, oh my gosh, you just wouldn't even believe it. This would be like a rated RRR live stream for me to have to tell you what this internal investigations from an officer that were 19. He was off for 3 months, went back to work for Horry County Police Department in 2019, and it was reported that he had major sexual misconduct within the department. They actually called him in, and I can tell you what his name is. Let me pull that up here on my phone, because all of this ties in together, all of this corruption. And because the Duke and Duke, if you're in chat, please do feel free to comment on this. There was a letter that was actually written about this, and I'm pretty sure that I have it right here. I have so much information on all the things that have been going on with this department. Officer Doyle was his name. And I'm going to go over here and see if I can pull this up real quick, if you'll give me 1 second, because I would like for you just to hear this little snippet. Let me see if I can. Hang on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, I've got it. This is a letter that was written on October the 26th of 2020. And I'm going to let this audio play, and I want you to listen to it. Mods, if you could please put a trigger warning in the chat, because, and listen, if you have kids in your background that are listening while you're listening to this podcast, this is rated X for kids. This live stream is not for kids. My channel is not for children. This channel and all of my live streams are for 18 plus. So if you have kids in the room with you, I'm asking you to either please mute out so that they can't hear this, or please go into another room, because this subject is going to be very sensitive. But I need you to hear this, to understand exactly what's been happening, and that this isn't something new. This is something that's been going on for quite a long time. So I think I saw NorCal Jim pop in here. Hey, NorCal Jim, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. The Duke says, nope, never any pushback. They were discussing this on my favorite morning radio talk show. Joe Katz has actually plugged my YouTube channel before, and I appreciate him doing that. And they were discussing, the lawsuit, and we're going to get into that. We're going to look at the lawsuit. But this is to set the tone about why we are in the situation that we are here in Horry County. And let's hope that YouTube will not take me down for this being played. But awareness is key. And I need you guys to understand the gravity of this situation. It's critical to the stuff that's happening here, because we have a lot of sex trafficking. We have a lot of crime. We have a lot of corruption. We have the cartel here. We have gang violence. We have the Bloods. We have the Crips. Like, a lot of people don't want to talk about that. They just ignore that any of this is a situation. But these are real life things that are going on here. And it's important that we talk about it so that people can stay safe and protect their families and protect their kids, because you got to keep your head on the swivel. You got to know exactly the truth about what's going on here. Yes, it's Hot Talk 99.5 in Myrtle Beach. Yeah, Joe Katz. Yeah, thanks, babe, for putting. So I want you guys to listen to this. This letter is going to be read. True Sunlight Podcast, Mandy Matney and Liz Farrell actually released a recent podcast to the police chief. And I just want you to hear what's in this letter. But again, if you have children in the room, this content is for 18 plus only. So before we play this, I probably should do this.
Warning. This episode contains content that may be disturbing or sensitive to listeners. Discretion is advised.
And thank you, mods, so much for putting that up for the trigger warning. I really appreciate that. Trigger warning: content not suitable for children. This subject is very sensitive. We prioritize mental health over views any day. And please join us for the next live stream, or you can come back and I would give it just a little bit before doing that. So I'm going to put this up and I'm going to play this part. So I hope you got your tinfoil hats and your seat belts on, because you're going to need them. Let's go.
Horry County Police Department, Office of Professional Standards, 1700 Airport Road, Conway, South Carolina, 29526. Date: Monday, October 26, 2020. To Police Chief Joseph Hill. From Inspector Stephen Phillips. Subject: Officer Josiah Doyle. Chief Hill: I am in the process of conducting an internal affairs investigation on Officer Josiah Doyle as a result of a polygraph that he has recently been administered. Officer Doyle has been employed with our agency on 2 occasions. His first employment cycle was 10/17/16 to 2/14/19, and his second cycle started on 4/1/2019. As a result of the polygraph examination, Inspector Hemingway and I conducted an in-person of immediate attention. Officer Doyle disclosed that during his employment, he has had numerous sexual encounters with several females while he has been on duty. He also advised that he has sent numerous text messages with pictures of his genitals to numerous females.
Oh, let's just stop it there. What? What? Can y'all even believe this right now? Y'all, is anybody in the chat? Are y'all as dumbfounded as I am? Because the first time that Duke and I sat down and listened to this, we couldn't even say anything. I just was, oh, and it gets worse. So buckle up, y'all. I'm going to take it back just a few minutes because what he's getting ready to say, it's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. So let's go.
Officer Doyle disclosed that during his employment, he has had numerous sexual encounters with several females while he has been on duty. He also advised that he has sent numerous text messages with pictures of his genitals to numerous females while in uniform. He also advised that he has had to masturbate numerous times while on duty. He also disclosed that he has driven his personal vehicle under the influence of alcohol while employed as a police officer, with the last one being 2 weeks prior to our interview. Officer Doyle advised that he was written up at his previous department for similar actions. These admissions come directly from Officer Doyle. Our investigation thus far has revealed Officer Doyle's behavior to be contrary to several Horry County policies relating to our conduct unbecoming of an officer section. And note to listener, policies is misspelled in this letter.
Hold on. They can't even spell policies in the letter, and this is an official letter. Welcome in, Petty. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Y'all did catch the part about, listen, he admitted this in an interview that he had to do the thing numerous times while he was on duty, y'all. What in the hell is going on in my county with this police department? I could not support disbanding this police department more than ever when I heard that this was going on. I had never heard about this letter. And this letter was written in October of 2020. And I've lived here for 30 years. And that took me out. I could not believe it. And he's driving under the influence of alcohol in his police cruiser. It's unbelievable. All right, let's get to the next section of the letter.
His pattern of sexual activity is an extreme concern relating to the continued public trust of the Horry County Police Department. Respectfully, Inspector Stephen Phillips, Horry County Police Department, Office of Professional Standards.
It's unbelievable. But I needed you guys to hear that and understand that this is one of the reasons why we talk about these cases, why we talk about crime and corruption, because this is so important. Like what the actual is going on here. This is not okay. And this is only one officer. There's others that are involved with having intimate relations with other officers while they're on duty, officers having intimate relations with other people while they're on duty, officers taking pictures of their genitals while in their uniform and sending them to citizens or other people in the department while they are on duty, officers distributing drugs while they're on duty. Yes, there was even an incident where 3 Horry County police officers were arrested back in the I think it was 2014, 2015. They were actually taking drugs out of the evidence locker and taking those into North Carolina and selling them for profit. And they were caught. This is why we have to speak on it. I'm so sorry that you had an awful week, Petty, but I'm glad you joined us. It's good to see you, and I hope that you're well. Michelle says a local Blaine cop got caught sending those kind of pics to a 16-year-old. You know, I have seen a lot of police officers getting in trouble lately for having CSAM on their phone. It gives me the creeps, you know. And Trixie says here, oh, I believe it. I was propositioned by a married 40-something-year-old cop when I was 17. I said, I'll take the ticket. Trixie, I'm so sorry. Like, it's scary. It really is. Lindsay said, at first, I was a tad annoyed by the sound of the narrator, but at this point, it's kind of funny, by the way. Yeah. Well, that's the narrator on their podcast. They call him David because, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to have to read that letter either. So when there's stuff that they don't want to read, they have David, the voice, to read it. So, hey, Avi, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing good. Cindy says, we just had the principal from my granddaughter's elementary school busted for a DUI. The local sheriff said, just be glad it wasn't CSAM. It's been happening a lot lately. And if you guys have not checked out my community wall, or if you're not following me on Facebook, you can see all the cases that I share over there. And it's actually pretty scary. But this sets the precedent for where we are today. Things are not getting better, y'all. Things are actually amping up and getting worse. And this is why we got to shine a light on what's really happening, because listen, we ride it down. Okay. I'm gonna be here to lend a voice to this until the wheels fall off, because this is my community and we are not going to stand for this. I've lived here for more than 30 years. This is atrocious behavior by our law enforcement, and we cannot stand with this. You almost felt like it was a prank. There's so much in the letter. Well, that was actually an official letter. Yeah, that was written. So it's kind of scary. T. Tiny says, Small Town USA hired a female police chief. Over the span of 6 months, she had replaced all the officers. Of course, she was hard to work for. You know, I think here in Horry County, there's only been, well, maybe even in the state of well, no, I don't know about in the state of South Carolina. I think in Horry County, there's only been one sheriff that was a female. And that's not saying a whole lot, is it? It's kind of really disappointing. So, hey, Zena, it's good to see you. That's right. We ride it down. You know, we have to stand up for these things, because if we don't speak out about it, who's going to? Apparently, this has been pushed to the side. Everybody just gets along to go along. You know, if you see something, don't say anything. That's what they want people to do. But that's not how we roll over here. You know, if we see something, we're going to say something, and we're going to call it out, because that is our First Amendment right. And we've got to shine a light on what these people are doing in our communities, because if we can't trust our police department, how can citizens know when they call law enforcement out to their house that they're actually going to get the help that they need? Like I said, we have 60 cold case homicides that have not been solved. We have a ton of people that are missing. We have the Micah Miller case. They did her a serious injustice. And I encourage you guys, if you're here in South Carolina, please don't forget to go over right to your governor, right to the House, the Senate, and encourage them to please pass South Carolina Bill 702. That is the Coercive Control Act, and it's also hashtag Micah's Law against domestic violence. If you can go over and look at my community wall, you can see how you can write to your local constituents in the county that you live in. Make those calls. We have till May the 7th, which that's not far away. If they don't get enough votes in the House, the bill dies until 2027. And we need to get that bill passed to protect domestic violence victims and victims of coercive control here in South Carolina. It's critical. NorCal Jim says, old boys club, been that way, will stay that way. The only difference is smartphones and social media to expose. Been happening forever, in my opinion. It certainly has, NorCal Jim. And I'm going to keep screaming it from the rooftops, because this is never going to go well for me. I'm never going to be okay with it. And let's see. I want to get over here. Let's see if I can find. I'm looking for next. Give me 1 second. Just going to try to pull this up. No, that's not it. I'm going to go over here and go to my live so I can go to my description, so I can grab that link. Those in the description of the video. I try to link everything that I'm going to review. So, please feel free to go over there and take a look at that. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. I want you guys to hear a little bit about Danny Furr's forced retirement. So this was actually being held at the Horry County Courthouse. So I'm going to share my screen. I want you guys to listen into a little bit of this. I think you guys will find it very interesting because it really sheds some more light. Axelrod and Johnny have also represented the previous 5 women who also filed a lawsuit against Horry County PD just, that was probably less than 6 months ago. This is just a reoccurring situation, and at some point, I just hope that they will dissolve Horry County Police Department and merge it with the Sheriff's Office. I just feel like it would be so much better for our community. So this is a little bit about this press conference right here. And they have asked that. Cindy says, evidently they're too busy touching themselves and others on the job to do their job. Cindy, that's very apparent. That, like I said, this is a situation that continues to happen year after year. And if these people weren't speaking out about it, the public would never know about it. So I just want to give a shout out to the women and men that have come forward to speak out about the things that are happening within these departments, because it's critical for the public to know exactly what's going on at the police department so that we make sure that we are reaching out to our government officials to let them know that this is not acceptable to us. And let me get over here. We're going to play this now.
Actively fired or punished for doing nothing other than trying to make the Horry County Police Department a better place to work. Having said that, welcome everybody. Welcome back, I should say, to the Axelrod and Associates law firm on 15th Avenue North here in Myrtle Beach. I've seen many of y'all before. Some of you guys were here for our last press conference versus the same defendant, Horry County Police Department. And you guys are going to say the same thing during this as I said, or that people say to me when they read the complaint, is that they always just say, do they not think that Danny Furr and these other people, Kelsey and Michaela, they don't think they're going to call a lawyer? That's how you know that you got a good case, is when people are like, they just thought they could get away with it. And the answer is yes. Yes, in this part of the country and in this part of the state of South Carolina, you get away with this kind of stuff. Who's watching the watchers? Should be SLED. Should be county council, should be the citizens. Thank God you guys represent the citizens, and they're behind exposing corruption like I've never seen anybody else before. But this is going to continue happening until real changes are made. The stuff that we're alleging in here, most of it happened after we held our previous press conference. So thank you guys for coming. As I said, I'm Johnny McCoy. I'm the senior criminal lawyer here at the Axelrod Associates law firm. I also do civil rights, personal injury, car wrecks. Anytime that you feel as though you are being taken advantage of, call me. We'll call the Axelrod law firm. This is Stuart Axelrod. He's been doing it 30 years. Valedictorian at Coastal Carolina University. I like to brag on him a little bit. He's a local guy, even though he's from up north, as we like to say. He's local now. And then you've got Tristan Schaefer, who's my law partner, along with Stuart Axelrod. And Tristan is the brains behind the operation. If you guys, anybody of you who know me before, you know I didn't type up a 33-page complaint in 3 days. That would be Tristan. So if you have any issues with it, take it up with Tristan. Having said that, I'm going to talk about the facts of the case. Tristan is then going to take over and talk about the complaint and this particular cause of action, and then we'll take some questions from y'all. If I say anything that is outside of what is inside the complaint or in contradiction of what's in the complaint, go to the complaint, refer to the complaint. All right, we've been on this for 3 days. We have to jump in front of stuff because the media is running a story about Windburn and it's being all tied into, you know, transparency, and Horry County Police is doing the right thing with making Windburn, but there's a reason that Windburn was, I don't know if he was forced out, but that he was finally punished. And it starts with Captain Danny Furr.
Exactly.
Last summer. It might have been I believe it was last summer, and I'll get to that in a second. But who is Captain Danny Furr? This is him right here to my left. I've been practicing law, carried the 18 years. I've known him the entire time. I've known of him the entire time. He's known of me the entire time. We've never had a longer conversation about anything other than a case. And when he approached me and said, there's something going on, we knew. I knew. I trust this guy. I know his reputation. I know the people within the county have an immense respect for this guy. All the officers do. This is a training officer. He's been with the Horry County Police Department for 27 years. We have a problem with morale and turnover at the Horry County Police Department. This guy's been there for 27 years in all capacities. And now he's a captain, which is, for those of you who don't know ranks, it's right below the chief. I think deputy chief and then captain. And he's a training officer. He's trained hundreds of different individuals underneath his supervision. SWAT, patrol, all of it. Captain Danny Furr's involved in all of it. And he's a good man. And I trust him. The facts in this case, they start off kind of, okay, normal whistleblower stuff, trying to make the situation better. And then they get to how they retaliated against Danny, and it's disgusting, and it's why we're here. Let's get into it. Captain Furr, throughout his tenure at Horry County Police Department, has been known to be an individual who voices concerns when there are concerns to be voiced. He's an individual that says everything from there's misconduct with time clocks and county property all the way to whistleblowers are effectively being silenced and individuals underneath my own supervision feel as though they can't talk about issues within the department. This is before the new chief was in place. He would just say things along the route to make the department better. But once the chief got in place, the morale, the turnover, and the misconduct raised exponentially. And so did his concern. And in 2024, now I got to look at my notes a little bit. Stuart made me look at my notes. I don't do it in front of a jury, but I'm doing it in front of y'all. Right, Pop? It's okay. I want to make sure we get this right. In 2024, Captain Danny Furr reported to Chief. Oh, by the way, you guys are going to hear Chief Lionheart. This is not like, oh, he's some distant figure in this. All of this is one-on-one. Danny Furr and Chief Lionheart. You guys are going to hear the inner workings of the police department. In 2024, Captain Danny Furr reported to Chief Lionheart misconduct within the Special Operations Team, which I believe is SWAT, misuse of county time and pay, harassment of other officers within the department, clock inadequacies, and other issues as though they'll be retaliated against for voicing concerns. Rather than punish the wrongdoers and investigate it, the chief and Deputy Chief Wyatt placed Furr on probation and stripped him of his responsibilities. That's the response when you say, hey, there are inadequacies with clock management and money. Probation, and you're no longer training any individuals. You think that he would have just went to his corner and learned his lesson. But in 2025, Captain Furr reports again to the chief. This time, he talks about the Windburn incident. WMBF, shout out to y'all.
So, in other words, there was another incident that he had reported and nothing came of it. So, this is Furr has spoke out about things going on in his own department, and he was silenced.
Oh, great coverage, good report. Is WMBF here? There you are. Good report. It's all in the media. That ties in. Let's talk about it. Furr reports to the chief that the Windburn incident, which was with Howard Worley's, which is a county council member, with his son-in-law. Furr's issue with this entire situation was it wasn't reported to the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy as required by policy and law. Chief, why wasn't the Windburn situation with the Worley relative reported to the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy? This guy's a Boy Scout. And guess what? Chief didn't like that. He says it's being handled. You don't need to talk to anybody about that. It's being handled. Remember, this is in July 2025. Y'all are just now reporting about this. It should have been reported when Danny Furr and other individuals are blowing the whistle on it. In that case, as reported, Deputy Chief Windburn instructed that they were taking to jail. That defendant was Harold Worley, County Councilman Harold Worley's son-in-law. The chief did not like Furr's meddling in that situation.
Exactly, Cindy. Exactly. You see why that's a problem? And I know who Harold Worley is. I know his daughter. And we can't just be letting the councilman call law enforcement and call the shots because, oh, hey, this is my family member. You need to unarrest them and take them home. That is not how the justice system works. That is breaking the law right there. Once somebody's been placed under arrest, they must go to jail and they must go before the magistrate. It's the magistrate's call to determine if somebody should have been under arrest or if this was not appropriate. It's the magistrate's call. It's not Winburn's call. But you know who made Winburn call? Harold Worley. You know? Like I said, dollars worth of oceanfront property, hotels, restaurants. Money talks and bullshit walks every single damn day. Criminals, police in the county. Yeah, when I say that we have crime and corruption here, I just don't mean, yeah, we have drugs, we have regular citizens committing crimes, but we also have our own police departments. We have people that are in high-standing offices around this county that are involved in nefarious activities. They want to shine the light on the citizens that are doing things wrong, but they don't want the light shined on them. And we're here to shine the light on everything because it matters. Because our taxes pay their salaries.
Around that same time, Furr also voiced concerns about the promotion of 2 officers who were investigators in the Scott Spivey case. So Furr says, hey, listen, it looks as though when you promote people who are involved in a nefarious investigation that the community is very upset about, when you promote 2 officers expeditiously, it looks as though you're trying to say, these guys didn't do anything wrong. Look, we gave them a promotion. That is the Horry County playbook through and through. He brings this up.
Bingo.
He voiced his concerns about the promotion of 2 officers involved in the Scott Spivey case. And then on March 18th, let's get local. March 18th, all this stuff took place over the last month, guys. On March 18th, Deputy Chief Winburn met with command staff. Now, command staff, I'm learning all about police departments now. Command staff is deputy chiefs, captains, and lieutenants. Did I get that right?
Executive command.
Executive command.
Yes, deputy chiefs and chief, and then command structure is captains and lieutenants.
There you go. All of these people are gathered to meet with Deputy Chief Winburn, and he tells these individuals in this meeting, you guys need to go and complain to your county council members that you have relationships with about County Administrator Barry Spivey and his meddling in and micromanaging of the Horry County Police Department. It is restricting Chief Lionheart from being able to run things the way that he wants to run. That was the instruction. And guess what? If you tell Danny Furr to do something, he's going to do it.
Hey, Rubber Ramada, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're good.
Danny Furr, along with 2 other individuals within his nucleus, one under the command, and I believe the other one was another captain. He gets them, and they go and meet with Cam Crawford, Horry County Council member Cam Crawford, and Horry County Council member Dennis DeSabato. Now, before all y'all get excited, I'm about to attack some council members. These guys are the good guys in this story. There you go, Dennis and Cam. So shortly after Furr gets the command to meet with these people, he takes 2 officers with him, and they meet with Cam and Dennis DeSabato, and he does what he's instructed. And he says, there's a lot of talk about Barry Spivey micromanaging, and we were essentially instructed in here to kind of blow the horn on that. Dennis DeSabato and Cam Crawford excuse the other 2 officers from the room, and they sit down with Furr one-on-one because they know this is our guy. This is who's going to talk to us and tell us the truth. And they say, speak openly, speak from the heart, and speak as a resident of Horry County. Speak as a citizen that wants to make this department better. And there he lays it back out. There's issues with these promotions. There's issues with misconduct with SWAT. There's whistleblower retaliation. There's favoritism. I haven't even mentioned this part yet, but the chief hired his good friend, and he's been vocal about it. He hired his good friend Brandon Lee as captain right after he was brought on as chief. And if you go through the requirements to be made captain, this guy should never have been hired on the captain level. And he brings.
What did I just tell you guys? The good old boy system. That's what it's about. It's about favoritism. It's about nepotism. It's about who you know. How much money do you got? What kind of position do you hold? Do you have any dirt on somebody in a high position? Because they will use that against you to intimidate you, to get you under their thumb. You know, I know this about you, so that's why I need you to help me out by doing X, so I don't have to tell everybody about your misdeeds when you did Y. You see how that math don't work? And Johnny mentions it right here. Favoritism is part of that. And it's got to go. It's got to go. South Carolina is riddled with the good old boy system. And we're done with it here.
Brings that up, and he says this is causing morale issues and confusion. Somebody needs to at least start reining in these checks and balances, and also they're punishing whistleblowers. Cam Crawford and Dennis DeSabato, they say, we want to meet with you next week on the 27th. This was on the 18th of March. They say, we want to meet you on the 27th because we want to bring in more county council members to hear about this, to their credit. Okay? Shortly after that meeting with the two county council members, the two officers that Captain Danny Fur brought with him were reassigned.
That part, Cindy. It's not what you know, it's who you know, to cover the bones in each other's closet. Say it louder for the ones in the back.
Magically, these two individuals who were too supportive of Captain Fur, taken out from around his nucleus. And then on March 26th, one day before this secondary county council member meeting that he was supposed to go to with 4 county council members, on March 26th, Chief Lionheart convened the department, and he got a command staff meeting. All right, I'm trying to get this right. He convened a department-wide command staff meeting, which is more than the individuals that we talked about from this one. Now, the chief's got everybody in the room that he wants to talk to. And as everybody's coming in the room, he stares straight down at Danny Fur. And his exact quote, as we have it in the complaint, if I get it wrong, refer to the complaint. If you plan to go above and around me, you better cancel your plans. And when a chief looks directly at you and everybody in the room knows he's talking about you, it's intimidating, it's embarrassing, and it's retaliation. Shortly after this meeting, the chief commands Danny Fur not to meet with county council. I'm serious. And so word gets back to county council, Danny Fur, I'm not gonna be able to meet with you tomorrow. Next thing he knows, he's getting a call from the chief. And the chief goes, yeah, you better be in that meeting. Our information and belief is that the chief heard he was going to be removed by county council if he continued to interfere and obstruct their investigation. And Danny Fur was ordered by the chief to go back and actually make an appearance at this meeting with these 4 county council members. Fur meets with the 4 county council members on March 27th. The county council members start off the meeting by saying, we're concerned about the chief not allowing us to speak to you and other personnel. And Danny Fur goes, yeah, that's been going on, basically since the police been in this role. And if you do speak, you get retaliated against. It's not just stopping. It's what takes place afterwards. Again, Danny Fur has his audience of the county council members, speaks from the heart and says, this is my county. I want the police department to be better. I'm a concerned citizen. I live here. My family lives here. All my friends live here. Issues with misconduct in SWAT. There are issues with whistleblower retaliation. There's favoritism with this Danny Lee thing or Brandon Lee thing. And there is all sorts of issues around these promotions concerning the Scott Spivey case. And that's him meeting with the 4 county council members. He gets it all out there, and he's assuming that they're going to take this information and make changes with it. But before anything could get done, on April 6th, the chief retaliates once again. And this is where I got pissed off. And this is the most concerning part about everything that we're talking about. And I'm going to wrap it up at the end of this, and I'm going to explain to you why. On April 6th, the chief retaliates and conspires with Captain Brandon Lee the guy, his buddy who he hired as a captain, to open an internal affairs investigation into Captain Furr.
What? You cannot make this up. And Rubber, I'm happy to show it. I'm happy to show it because we have to expose what's really going on. Johnny McCoy he's fantastic. He's fantastic. And he's going to get it done. I have no doubt. I cannot believe they opened up an investigation into Danny Furr, and he's the whistleblower. This is why people don't report things going on at their places of business, especially when you're working for places like police departments, is because of the blowback. Because you can guarantee that it's going to cost you your job. But I have a lot of respect for Danny Furr for coming forward and to know that he has been reporting the misconduct to his superiors all along, but he's been silenced. So good job, Danny. And I'm glad that you went and sought out counsel for this.
On April 6th, he didn't find out about it until way later, and I'll explain that in a second, which is against the rules. It's against the law. You have to be notified if you're under an internal affairs investigation. As Tristan Schaefer calls it, a clandestine investigation.
Yeah.
The investigation was kept secret from him. And the best part is it was for, and I quote, guys, when they're out to get you, they go and get the good stuff. This is what they opened an IA against him for. Making a derogatory comment against another captain. I'm dead serious. We are beating down the doors of Horry County saying we need transparency, we need investigations, we need to hold people accountable, and this is what they choose to do their IA on. This is what they choose to do their internal affairs investigation on. Making a derogatory comment about another captain. Problem is, this guy's one of the most liked guys in the Horry County Police Department, hundreds of different officers, and nobody would go along with it. And they started to get concerned that this doesn't look or feel right. Because of their lack of participation in it, no results yield, and it's deemed unfounded. He still doesn't know about it until April 16th, 10 days later, when Captain Furr learns that there is a second internal affairs investigation launched against him. This time is the good stuff. Now, I don't know how I can just gloss over this.
Hold on. They opened up an internal investigation, and then they opened up another internal investigation on him. Do you see how dirty they play when they don't want their own wrongdoings exposed?
And for you guys to still think he's a good guy, but let me get this actually right. The second IA was opened up against Captain Danny Furr for rudeness. Rudeness. This time, it is again secret, and he doesn't know anything about it. And this time, they start trying to pressure witnesses a little bit more. And old Danny, who's so gets a call from the IA investigator himself, who is concerned and says the other captains that they're asking about this and the other officers are refusing to go along with it. And I can say the name of the one female officer who literally said, this ain't happening. It's crazy. And the second AI is closed as unfounded. On April 17th, Captain Danny Furr does something that took me 8 years of burying myself in a pillow, taking pills, and dealing with the stress of the South Carolina justice system, and he requests help for his mental health from the department. They have a procedure. It's called the Employee Assistance Program, and you can get counseling through that, and he needs counseling for what they're putting him through for anxiety and depression, okay? Which should be commended. That was April 17th. On April 21st, another meeting. Furr meets with the Public Safety Committee. Deputy County Administrator Renee Hardwick was present, along with other county council members. And Furr again voices concerns about the retaliation, he was told to step out of the room. And Deputy County Administrator Renee Hardwick, 2 county council members in the room and other individuals present, says, you know, he just requested support for his mental health. We should take this all, words to the effect of, we should take all this with a grain of salt. Essentially saying this is coming from a crazy person.
What?
So she discloses this in this private meeting on April 21st. Danny Furr is just still limping into these things saying, is any change going to happen here? I'm just going to keep pushing until something takes place. And finally, on April 22nd, the day after the meeting with this Public Safety Committee where Deputy County Administrator Renee Hardwick divulged his private medical information, the next day, Captain Danny Furr meets with Chief Lionheart, Deputy County Administrator Hardwick, and Human Resources. And here, Furr finally finds out the results of his IAs, unfounded. And he finally finds out in passing through their conversations that the Captain Lee lies were also unfounded.
Wow.
However,
unbelievable.
They told Danny Furr, you're effectively fired. Turn in your badge, your gun, your uniform, your property, and you are no longer welcome on Horry County Police property because we don't trust you around other officers.
This is unbelievable. Someone who has served our community more than 20 years, never had any negative reports against him, has served this community with integrity and leadership, and this is how he's treated because he's calling out the dirty ones. Unbelievable.
Trust. 27 years with the Horry County Police Department.
27 years.
They told him you're going on sick leave to May 1st, and at which time you'll retire.
Damn. Danny Furr has served 27 years in Horry County. And now you're going to take your sick leave and then you're going to retire. Can you imagine being told that by a bunch of other criminals that are lying? It's unbelievable.
He had no plans to retire. He was forced out. And luckily, he knew who to call. I'm going to read directly from the complaint. We hold that because Tristan Schaefer sums it up perfectly. Number 93. Plaintiff was forced out because he spoke to elected county officials about corruption, retaliation, irregular promotions, politically influenced policing, false and misuse of public authority within the Horry County Police Department.
Boom. I commend Danny Furr for his integrity and his bravery to come forward and speak out about what's happening in our county. God bless this man.
He was forced out because he reported and opposed false statements, false internal affairs activity, and unlawful and improper conduct by police officials. To sum it up, I want you to think about something that took place during the course of this ordeal they put him through. They opened 2 unfounded IA investigations against this guy. And he beat him, of course. He didn't even have to participate. But that is not the scariest part. The scariest part is he's a 27-year veteran of the Horry County Police Department and a Boy Scout. What do you think they do to citizens that complain?
Hey, Kay Kanuga, it's good to see you. I hope you're doing good. Thanks for joining us.
What do you think they do to citizens that question an officer's integrity for lying on the side of the road? What do you think they do to you individuals out there who are commenting on social media saying the chief needs to go, the sheriff should absorb him? You should all be afraid as long as he's still in that seat. You don't open internal affairs investigations or investigations, period, against individuals who are speaking truth. It's wrong. And it's true that this happened to this guy. And they do it to Danny Fur. I told him, I said, Stuart, he's still working. They told him he's staying there till May 1st. I want him in his uniform. You should have seen him when he approached me. He had it looked like, my God, I don't even know what it looked like, a general. He approaches me in the parking lot with tears in his eyes. And they took it from him. Not metaphorically, they physically took it off of his chest. And all that he's done for this county and all the training that he's done, and they didn't even give him a flower or the courtesy that they gave Randy Webster of a goodbye party in an email saying thanks.
And Randy Webster, he was the county administrator that was sexting other employees of the Horry County Police Department that were female, and talking about how he wanted to take them on a trip and what he wanted to do to them, blah, blah, blah. And when they came forward to Johnny McCoy and then went to court, well, he just retired so that they couldn't do anything. And I hope he gets what he deserves too, because he's nothing but a dirty old man. Makes me sick.
If nothing is done, you're promoting a culture of corruption, secrecy, and this will result in low morale, turnover, and liability.
Absolutely, Johnny.
Liability. If you guys won't do it and remove these individuals because it's the right thing to do, then just know we got another bank that we're going to renovate down the road here, because we're going to keep taking on these cases. And we're going to keep having to hold them accountable, and they're going to keep using county citizens' money to defend this stuff. And I'm going to just have to keep sending out press conferences, because the only thing that can combat silence is illumination.
Absolutely.
And
shining the light
to illuminate the silence that they barreled down on this guy. And you can promise you that there are other employees, officers that have done nothing but reach out to him and say, we want Johnny's cell phone. Having said that, I'd like to introduce you guys to my partner, Tristan Schaefer. The complaint's 33 pages long. He's not going to read all of it. He's going to go through a couple of the core causes of action, because what I just said, a lot of that stuff was illegal that they did, but Tristan can kind of tell you why it's illegal. And then we'll take some questions for y'all. Thank you. Tristan Schaefer, everybody.
Y'all, Johnny McCoy, he is an incredible attorney here. If I ever got myself in some something, you can guarantee Johnny McCoy gonna be coming for your ass, okay? Because I know a few people down here. And Martha Tiger Tinsley. We got some good attorneys down here. And he's no nonsense. He's going to break it down and tell you exactly what's been going on. And if anybody knows what's been going on, Johnny McCoy and Axelrod, they know. This is not their first rodeo talking about the corruption and crime in this county, and it has to stop. How can you be out here lying on your own fellow officers and then out here also saying that you're out here protecting these citizens? Because to me, those two things, that doesn't go together. That doesn't even make any sense. That goes against the handbook of what a police officer is supposed to be. I don't trust none of these people. I trust Danny Fur. But these other fools, get out of here. This is unbelievable that this is happening right here. And I'm not just talking, Horry County is the biggest county in South Carolina. But let's not mistake this. All of this right here is in my community, local to me, local to where I am. It's unbelievable. Let's hear what Tristan has to say. And thank you for joining us. Hey, baby boop, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. And Kay Canuck, it's always good to see you.
Obviously, it's a long complaint. It's 34 pages long. I understand that that's some hard reading for most people. It's hard reading for most attorneys, quite honestly. The essence of why we initially filed this complaint is because of the fact that he was wrongfully terminated. And yes, he resigned, but he resigned after he had been told that he couldn't be on the property anymore, that he couldn't be around officers anymore. Okay? He retired by force. They said, "You're not going to be on county property anymore. You're banned. You have to turn in all your equipment. It's time for you to retire." Okay? This wasn't a voluntary, "Hey, I'm getting out of here." This was a direction or directive from the county. And it was in direct response. And if you look at the timing, it's in direct response to him speaking out, him speaking to county councilmen, okay? And him pointing out problems. And some of those problems are purely from a citizen's perspective. And when I say that, I mean this. Mr. Furr, Captain Furr at the time, went out there and decided to speak up, just like any single one of us has the right to do. Okay? He wasn't officially being a spokesperson whenever he said this stuff. He was speaking as a worried citizen who wanted to make things better. Okay? And what did they do? They fired him for it. Okay? This is an at-will state. I understand that. But what you can't do, even if it's an at-will state, is fire someone who's trying to do the right thing, and
Absolutely.
It violates public policy. And that's one of the causes of action here. We've also alleged that they're violating his civil rights. Like I said, every single one of us has the right to speak out.
That's right.
Preaching the choir in a room full of reporters, quite honestly, about the First Amendment, but we have a right to speak. Okay?
Yep.
And we retaliated against the way Danny Furr was. I mean, here's the craziest thing about all of this. The Windburn situation that had been reported with Thomas Long, the unarrest of Thomas Long. The news story that came out seemed like they were saying that the chief just found out about this. He's like, "Oh, well, someone FOIA'd the request, so I found out about it. I did something. I opened up a complaint. I opened up an investigation." I mean, that's basically what he told the news. Okay? He's ignoring the fact that this information came out at least in July when Danny first said something. And if you don't want to take Danny's word for it, look at who got served the lawsuit that 3 weeks ago.
Oh, he knew.
There's a lawsuit that's been pending for a year in that case. And it's like, oh, well, I opened up as a chief whose position is that I can open an investigation for someone being rude. You would think that he probably would have opened an investigation whenever he got served a lawsuit last year.
Right.
But in reality, he opened up an investigation after the media found out about it, which coincidentally was a couple weeks after Danny Furr spoke to a council member about it. So if you look at the pattern of behavior of what the police department has done since he has disclosed things to council members, it's pretty clear that what they were doing is trying to keep him from being able to speak and to discredit him from speaking out. They made up lies about him, as Brandon Lee did. They fired him. They disclosed confidential information against him. And this wasn't just one officer. This was the chief and people working with the chief.
Yeah.
It really is, one of the causes of action in our complaint is called outrage. It's another word for intentional infliction of emotional distress. And I hate the fact that when I captioned it, I wrote intentional infliction of emotional distress / outrage. So one of my typos in there, but one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't just leave that out and just put outrage. Because we should have put that as the first cause of action. The first cause of action should have been outrage. Because quite honestly, the behavior of the police chief and the other defendants in this case in how they acted and how they responded to political speech is outrageous.
Yes.
And it should outrage every single person in this room and every single person in Horry County.
It outrages me for sure.
Questions about the complaint, I'm happy to answer some of them, but they're direct questions. I know it's a long complaint, but at the heart of it, we're saying that he was terminated wrongfully and that they engaged in outrageous behavior in order to silence him.
Exactly. I thought you guys would think that was pretty interesting. Robert says, I like these guys keeping it simple and explaining this. Yeah, and they do an excellent job. But I wanted you to hear exactly how Johnny and Tristan were going to lay this out in the press conference, because it's so much deeper than anybody could imagine. And the fact that they did this to a 27-year police captain veteran and forced him to resign simply because he was going to tell the truth about them and the favoritism, the nefarious stuff that they'd been up to cover their own tracks. And this is exactly what happened with the last internal investigation involving the officers with Scott Spivey. And you heard this here. Danny Furr said they actually transferred 2 officers that were involved in some of this nefarious stuff to different departments. They didn't let them go. They just moved them somewhere else. And I think the Duke actually said that in chat too. And it's, no shame, Cindy. Exactly. Elizabeth says, your county's a bit messed up. You think, Elizabeth? It's more than just a bit. I assure you. It's a lot. We have a lot going on here. So there is some other stuff that's happening too. Like this is just, we haven't even reached the press. Hang on, I got some feedback here because I was on my YouTube channel. Let me go over here. I got to pull up something else I want you guys to see. Now, here is the police chief that I was telling you about, Winburn, the one that called off the arrest of Mr. Long, the Horry County Councilman's son-in-law. This is Deputy Chief Lance Winburn. He's the one who actually started these internal investigations on Danny Fur. And this is one of those internal investigations right here. This is another article that came out on the 28th from WMBF News that talks about there's a policy violation in how the Horry County Police Department handled that 2022 case. And that is with that arrest with Thomas Wade Long, the son-in-law. So I wanted to make sure that I highlighted that also, because I know that Chris Leinhart, who doesn't want to do an interview with the news, basically the only statement I think that he gave was that the investigation began due to a FOIA request submitted asking for documents related to that 2022 incident. And there was an internal affairs investigation in 2022 regarding the incident under previous leadership at the department. So he says he wasn't immediately aware of it, and it was conducted as chief. But the problem is that he was still working at the department. So everybody at the department knows when there's an internal investigation going on, right? I mean, let's not play dumb. But now Chief Winburn has announced his retirement, and it's because he's been found to be in the wrong. And I just don't know why these people just continue to pretend like they're not involved in anything nefarious that's going on. It's ridiculous. And I'm glad to know that the sexual harassment lawsuit is going to head to mediation, and hopefully there will be something that comes out of that against Randy Webster, because he had no business doing what he was doing either. There's just so much wrong that's going on in our local police department. Like, it's just not good at all. Let me see if I can find this other article here. That's about Danny Fur. And when you guys are going back listening to this, please don't have your kids in the room, because there is an excerpt where I'm going to call for a trigger warning. And I'm just warning you guys, anybody on the rewind in this case, make sure that when I tell you there's going to be a trigger warning, that you remove your kids, because these live streams are for 18 plus only, because there's some information that I had David to read about another investigation into another police officer, and about the things that he was doing while he was on the clock as a police officer. And a lot of those were sexual allegations, and that he admitted to when they actually interviewed him. And he admittedly, that, I don't know, that like took me out just listening to that. It's, prepare yourself, get on your seatbelts and your tinfoil hats, and I don't know, get a rail to hang on to, because you might fall out listening to it. It's incredibly crazy just to even think that this is what it's been now. That lawsuit that we just listened to, it is 35 pages, y'all. And if you guys want a link to that, I believe that one of the articles in the description of this video will actually link you if you want to take a look at this summons jury trial demanded lawsuit right here that Johnny McCoy and Axelrod Law Firm is representing Danny Fur, former Captain Danny Fur of Horry County PD. And it's versus Horry County Police Department, Chris Leinhart, Lance Winburn, Brandon Lee, and Renee Hardwick. And this is where Stuart Axelrod, Johnny McCoy, and Tristan Schaefer all forwarded this. They have 30 days to answer this complaint. And it is 35 pages. And it basically just talks about that Danny lives in Georgetown County and who the defendants actually are. Brandon Lee is a captain of the Horry County Police Department. He is sued in his individual capacity. Defendant Lance Winburn was deputy chief department. At all times relevant to this complaint, he acted under color of state law, and he is sued in his individual capacity. And defendant Renee Hardwick is the deputy county administrator of Horry County, and she is also being sued in her individual capacity for acting under the color of the state law, as well as for the purposes of the complaint, the executive command is used to refer to the HCPD under all of these people here. Chris Lionheart, he is the chief of police of Horry County, and he's also being sued in his individual capacity, as well as the entire agency, that is the political department, and also the entire county, which is the political subdivision of the state of South Carolina. So this is going to be huge. And we just heard Johnny McCoy lay all of this out. So if you guys actually want to see this lawsuit, I will make sure to link this. I thought some of the most interesting things were when they had to list about these promotions, which is Kathman and Lentz promotions, that this was to facilitate a cover-up concerning the Spivey case. That's number 20. And apparently, the questions surrounding those promotions have caused morale problems. He believed that Lionheart created the atmosphere of favoritism, selective discipline, and retaliation against critics. That's very important. He also stated that on March 18th of 2026, Winburn convened a meeting of that staff attended by those captains and lieutenants of all 5 patrol precincts. And that is when he conveyed his specific concerns about Danny Furr. It also looks like that on down here, let me get to it. The suspicious timing concerning the promotion of 2 officers, misconduct among members of the SWAT team. I thought that was really interesting. We can't be having misconduct with the SWAT team. So, and retaliation for interagency being a whistleblower. Like this is, like I said, this is 35 pages laying out exactly what has happened in this case. And y'all, it is a lot. And I'm not going to keep you to have to read through all this. I'll link it. You guys can read through it because we're probably going to meet back again so that we can go over all of this in great detail. Because I'm going to let you guys know exactly how all of this, plays out. But I wanted you guys to have an understanding of why we fight against the corruption because of the crime and things that are going on here. Sometimes the people that we have to worry about are the very people that are supposed to be out here protecting the citizens and the tourists that come here to our state to vacation. If we can't trust them, how are we going to trust them to protect us? So that's why we got to stand up for what's right. So the last thing that I want to talk about is the council meeting that Oh, there I am. Bing bong. Do what? I'm frozen. Am I back? Am I back, y'all? I'm not back. Y'all can't see me? You can't hear me? I'm back now. Just come in here and talk to me instead of yelling the other room. I'm back. Okay. Baby's back. Elizabeth. Oh, I think it's the Wi-Fi because we've been getting storms here. So Michelle sent them over to me as usual. Michelle sends me the snow. She sends me all the things. Once she gets it where she is, she pushes it on to where I am. So let me share my screen and I will take you over to see this article. This is in My Horry News, which is a local newspaper here in my county. And the name of this article is Sheriff Thompson, who is the sheriff of Horry County, wants voters to decide the fate of local law enforcement. And this is by Tom O'Dare. This was on April the 28th of 2026. And here you can see a picture of Sheriff Philip Thompson as he is doing an address at a memorial service honoring some officers that died in the line of duty. This is at the Horry County Government and Justice Center back last year. And the article states, Horry County Sheriff Philip Thompson said everywhere he goes lately, folks are asking his opinion about the possibility of a merger between the Sheriff's Department and the Horry County Police Department. And at this recent Horry County Council meeting, a parade of speakers implored the council to do away with the county police department as it exists now and put it under the control of the elected sheriff. And remember, at the beginning of this live stream, I asked if you guys knew the difference between the police department in your county and the sheriff's department. And here we elect our sheriff, but the police department, the chief and the people in the police department, like that chief is not elected. They are chosen by the councilman. And if you remember, Harold Worley is an Horry County councilman, and that means that they do their bidding. So when a councilman picks up the phone and says, hey, you've arrested somebody in my family and you need to take them back home, well, they're inclined to do what they say because they know that that's who put them in that position. But that shouldn't fly around here. So we are the only county in South Carolina that has two active agencies that are separate of each other. And a lot of people want those departments to merge under Philip Thompson, the elected sheriff. And by the way, Philip Thompson does an excellent job. I don't have any issues with him or the sheriff's department personally. So I wanted to put that out there. Horry County, again, is the only county in South Carolina with a separate police department. Charleston County was the last to merge its two departments, y'all, and that was back in 1991. That's how long that Horry County has been trying to hold on to this two-agency system because, like I said, one is elected and one does the bidding of the Horry County Council. So the two Horry County law enforcement departments were separated by the General Assembly in 1959 before Home Rule gave control to local county governments. Thompson, the sheriff, says he favors the idea but realizes the emotions that come with the issue. A referendum to merge the departments in 1998 was defeated, with the election being heated on both sides. You're talking about two systems, he said, and the sheriff office belongs to the people. The county police work for county council, and I've worked under both systems. Thompson has held the sheriff post for 25 years, and prior to that, he worked for the county police for 21 years and for the Myrtle Beach City Police for 2 years. He said having law enforcement under the sheriff gives the citizens access to the leadership of their law enforcement. At the last county council meeting, Chairman Johnny Gardner don't get me started about him, said the council has been discussing the possibility. Thompson said he has spoken with some council members who have questions about the cost and logistics of the merger, and Thompson said it was way too premature to present a plan to accomplish this merger. He said, I foresee getting representatives from the sheriff, the police department, and the county council to work together to come up with a plan. But first, the council has to put it on the ballot. And see, that's the thing. The county council, they don't want to do that because that's taking power away from a department that they have control of. So, according to Philip Thompson, above all, the citizens need to have a voice in the matter, and all citizens are looking for is good quality law enforcement. The county spokesperson, Thomas Bell, said Horry County Police Chief Chris Leinhart did not want to comment on the merger issue at this time, and I bet he doesn't. Nope. He's not going to want to comment because it's liable. It's very likely that he could be pushed out. So, and it looks like Cindy said we went sheriff's office 20 years ago. It was the best thing ever. Hey, Witchy, it's good to see you. Thanks for becoming a new member. Welcome to the Dutch Bus. We're so glad to have you. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you.
Seatbelts, everyone! Double Dutch bus coming down the street.
Thank you, Witchy, for joining us. We're so glad to have you. It is unbelievable, the 5 Canes, but now you can understand why we have so many issues with ongoing cases here, because there's too many cooks in the pot trying to control what's going on, people trying to cover up for each other's things that they're doing. It's a mess. It's a mess, but we've got to do something better, and I'm really hoping that y'all got to pray for us because we all need it. So I just appreciate y'all joining me so that we could talk about this. I'm probably going to come back and talk to you guys some more about it. I know that JP Miller has asked for an extension on his court dates. He has put this off 2 times. He had to go on vacation. He had to do this. He had to do that. So they have pushed out that case. There has not been a date that has been set for the civil trial for Scott Spivey's case against Weldon Boyd and Bradley Williams. And it kind of makes me a little uneasy because I'm wondering if they're trying to put these cases off until a new governor is elected. I hope that's not the case, but you never can tell with these situations. Rubber Ramada, thank you so much for being a member for 11 months. I appreciate your support. So, these are issues because Micah Miller deserves justice and Scott Spivey deserves justice, and they are pushing these cases out. And I just wonder if they're going to try to push these cases out until after election time. I hope that's not going to be the case, but so far that's what it's looking out because these cases have still not been put on the docket yet. And that is a big concern because we want to get these cases heard. Like I said, if you are in South Carolina, please go to my community wall. You can also go to Justice for Micah is Facebook. They do have the South Carolina 702 bill. You can find that on my community wall as well, where you can call your representatives. It will tell you exactly who you need to email, who you need to reach out to, that you want to see this coercive control bill passed here in South Carolina that will help domestic violence victims. Because the Horry County Police Department didn't care about Micah Miller. They didn't believe her when she was reporting that JP Miller was doing all of these things to her. They didn't take her serious. And I blame them just as much as I blame JP Miller because they didn't help her in the way that they should have. And we got to stand up for what's right. We have to protect our citizens. This channel is about awareness. It's not about fear tactics. It's about keeping people informed about what's happening in my community here. Because if it's happening here, it's likely where you live also. And these are important conversations that we all need to have. So I appreciate y'all being here. thank you so much for joining me. And T Tiny, thank you so much again for becoming a member. The Five Canes, I appreciate you so very much for your support. And Allie, I appreciate you rejoining the membership. And Witchy Woman, I'm so glad to have you as a member. And Rubber Ramada also, thanks so much for you've almost been a member for a year. That's amazing. I appreciate you guys so very much. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. It's rainy. It's going to be 47 degrees here tomorrow night. So I'm not looking forward to that. It's the beginning of May. It's supposed to be warm and nice outside. And we didn't even get to go play disc golf because the weather's so yucky outside. So, and I appreciate all the mods coming over and hanging out with me. Thank you, Mustang, for being here too. I appreciate y'all just coming to hear the awareness because the truth matters. And some people might talk about true crime. They might put speculation and give their own, spin on it. And sometimes we do discuss those things. But I like to stick to the facts. I like to stick to what's happening. And what I know best is my own community. Because as a taxpaying citizen, I'm always going to speak out about what's happening in my community. Because if it's happening here, it's likely that there's a chance it could be happening in your state. And we've got to keep people aware because this is why missing people don't get found. This is why when kids run away, they may not take these cases seriously. Cold case homicides, people that they think they know who did it, or maybe it's like Logan Federico's case. You have these criminal recidivists that should have been imprisoned, but they were let out and they continue to commit crimes and hurt other citizens. This is why we have to use our voices. We have to stand up with each other and we have to say, we need change. We need reform. We need legislative change, not just here in South Carolina, but all across the United States and around the world. Because victims and their families matter. Doodlebug, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I'm going to let you guys go, and I will see you guys very, very soon. I'll probably have another live stream either Sunday night. I'm working on something right now on another cold case. I've had a couple of people reach out to me. I have another mom that has a son that was shot and killed at Peach's Corner. And that person was recently put on house arrest for murder. And guess what? Alan Wilson let him out. How do you get on house arrest for murder? I don't understand even how that works. And the mother was not even informed that he was released. And she was out in the community where her son's killer was actually walking around free in the community because he was let out. And she is talking about her son's case and why she is very upset that he was released on house arrest and not locked up. And so we're going to also be talking about that case. So I'm going to be talking with her and she's giving me all the information. I've got some news articles and things that I'm working on. So y'all wear your helmets out here in these YouTube streets because it's getting crazy out here. And make sure you take care of yourself out there. And I'll catch you guys later. Dutchie out. Bye, y'all.
From the Appalachian pine to the Atlantic Sea, you showed up for the truth, and that means a lot to me. Crime and corruption, missing folks in the night. Dutch keeps it on your doorstep, keeps the facts in the light. She don't let it slide, she don't let it fade. Keeps you all informed with no delay. Head on a swivel in the darkest night. The truth they forget she brings to light. Thank you for joining Dutch Girl Podcast. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining Dutch Girl Podcast. come back again. Hit the lock and come back again. Hit the lock and come back again. Dust stays on her toes, bringing you the news. Shares it on her social, keeping everyone aware. She'll take them to church, lay their wounds bare. If the trail goes quiet, she keeps digging still. Through the smoke and the shadows, truth will surely spill. She don't let it slide, she don't let it fade. Keeps you all informed with no delay. Head on a swivel in the darkest night. The truth they forget she brings to light. Thank you for joining Dutch Girl Podcast. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining Dutch Girl Podcast. Come back again. Hit the like and come back again. Hit the like and come back again. Dutch stays on her toes, bringing you the news. So if you need the truth and you need it plain, she'll say it straight through the fire and rain. From the mountain peak to the saltwater blue, keeping all informed, she sees it through. Thank you for joining Dutch Girl Podcast. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining Dutch Girl Podcast. Come back again. Hit a like and come back again. Hit the like and come back again. Dutch stays on her toes, bringing you the news. Hype this live. Share it out. If you see something, say something. Dutchie out!